Hello everyone, I'm going to show you a tip for doing large puzzles that is usually not talked about online. As you see here, I'm currently working on Ejika Boris's 24,000 piece Life the Great Challenge puzzle. This is what the puzzle looks like when it is complete. There's 4 sections. Each section is 6,000 pieces. Unless you have a lot of space and a lot of time, I recommend doing it section by section. I've seen people do it different ways. I've seen them do one section at a time, as well as doing all 24,000 pieces mixed together, but I don't recommend it. So here is the finished view of the puzzle. Okay, pretty long. It's a panoramic view. So this is my tip for doing these types of puzzles. First of all, like I said, I prefer to just do one section at a time. That's just the way I've always done them. It's enough of a challenge for me. So this is a section I'm working on. It's the first quarter. As you see, I'm already making some progress here on the top end of the puzzle, and I have it covered up. But there's some more down here under this section of pieces of animals and things. Anyway, that's really not what I wanted to show you. The tip I have for solving these puzzles is when you're sorting out your pieces, and yes, you should, you first want to sort out all your border pieces. So like on a big puzzle like this, you're only going to have 3 borders, the top, the left side, and the bottom on this section. Then your right section is not going to be a border because it connects to another section later. So go ahead and sort out your border pieces and put them in a separate area. I like to put them on these little poster boards I get at the Dollar Tree for 50 cents a piece. So you get 2 for $1. And they're not sturdy per se, but they're good if you're on a budget and you want to just, throw your pieces on a piece of paper face up so you can view everything. So I put my border pieces on one. I also buy the foam core, which is this thicker stuff you can get at the Dollar Tree. It's $1 per piece, and it's the same size as these. It's just thicker, and those are good because they're more sturdy. So like, if you want to pick up the whole piece and not have to worry about just picking up one side versus two, and you just want to have a more sturdy thing, you can do the foam core. I actually use both. I'm just kind of mixing it up right now because I need a lot of surface area, seeing as there's 6,000 pieces to this section. So like I said before, sorting out the border pieces. Next up, you're going to go through the image and view the sections of color. So how I would sort this out is, okay, I've got sky and mountain, all that blue. That's going to be that's pretty much what I'm working on right now is all this blue. And you can see I've been piecing together this sky here a little bit and the mountains. So you're going to sort out that blue. Then you're going to say, okay, well I got all these balloons with bright vivid colors. Let's go ahead and sort the balloons out. And you can do them either as one big pile of all the balloon pieces, or you can individualize them and put a pile of each one. The gold and the white, the gold and the red and the orange and the, and this balloon and this balloon. You can do each pile individually, whatever you want to do. The more time you put into sorting, the faster will go the puzzling process, as you can imagine. Whether you have all these mixed together or you have each pile separate, it's going to make a difference. I tend to be lazy, but, it's a good idea to go ahead and sort them out individually as well. Then you've got the animals. Now, again, I sorted all the animal pieces into one pile. Not the greatest idea, but it works. You could do the cheetah pieces separately, the brown pieces for the back of the horse, the camel and the donkey separately, the zebra separately, the darkness of the, I believe that's an ostrich body separately, the giraffes. There's 3 giraffes in the image. You got 2 darker giraffes and a brighter giraffe. You would put those separately. The elephant body, and then these animals here, they tend to just kind of blend together. So I just throw them all together and you can sort them out later. Okay, and then you're going to want to do these pieces. You'll see the top of the water surface has like a line or ripple effect going on. So those pieces are going to be quite clear in the sorting process. So you're going to go ahead and sort out all the ripple water on the top here. And then these animals here will kind of just go with those animals up here. They'll just all blend together. Next up, you got the underwater view. So you got clownfish galore. I tend to sort them by color. So I've got the blue fish in one section, the green in another, the lighter orange in another, the yellow in one, the darker orange, I think I already said blue, and so on. So you just sort them out into their respective piles. And then last, you've got this cluster of coral reef in the background. It's very boring. And it's very challenging because it's a large section. I'm trying to zoom in, but it's not the greatest camera I'm using on my phone. Here we go. So you can see all the coral back there. That's going to be the last part I would probably do because it's just so boring. But the thing is, if you do all the easy stuff first, when you get to the end with the boring part, you're like, okay, I've done all of the puzzle except for this. So it really pushes you to just go ahead and finish it really quick and knock it out. Honestly, I could sit and knock out this coral probably in 1 or 2 days, just depending, you know, a couple hours of work, because I'm so ready to finish this section and move on to the next beautiful section. And the great thing about these big puzzles is not only do they have a lot of detail, so that when it's blown up to a large size like this, you can get a good image and still be able to, it's not all finely pixelated, but it's got a good graphic for the large count pieces. The other great thing is, when you go to the next section, or when you're previewing the next section, you're just like, wow, I can't wait to start this one. Look at the lizard, and look at the rainbows, and the big eagles, and all the planets in the sky. Wow, that's beautiful. The lighthouse, the house, the mountain, the hills. It looks pretty easy. There's just a little green here. There's some trees and rocks. There's a dolphin. He's easy to sort out. And then you got some different kind of fish. Now they're not clownfish. You got seahorses, and so this gives you anticipation and excitement to start the next challenging section. And then when you're on this one, you just look at the next one, and you're like, wow. Look at this one with sailboats, and look at the birds in the sky, and the planets, and the dolphins. And the dolphins look challenging. There's a lot of blue there, but it's a challenge worth taking. And then, you've completed 3/4 of the puzzle. So by the time you get to this last section, which is the hardest in a lot of people's opinion, you're not afraid to give up. Or let me rephrase that. You're not going to give up, because you've gone so far, and you see the underwater city, and it is a challenge. Look at all that blue. It's just so challenging, but you can do it. Just set yourself, pace yourself, try to sort out what you can see, the lines here, the holes for the windows, and the columns here, and the statues, and the round top of this building structure, and just get what you can done, and then you can kind of go from there. And a lot of people have mentioned this, but I will include this tip as well, is when you're solving this kind of size puzzle, sometimes you'll run into big sections that are all the same color. Like right now, one of the sections I'm working on, it's all the same color. Even though it doesn't seem like it here, when it's zoomed in, this is a lot of blue right here. I mean, you can get an idea from taking a look at what I've completed so far. There's a lot of blue here, and it's all the same color. So how do you go about doing that smoothly without a headache? Well, what you do is you don't just sort out the color, but you want to sort it by piece shape. So for example, here, I've got all of these pieces which actually go left to right like this. The highest side goes vertical every time. So we've got all these here. They're the same, and I usually do them neatly like so. So you have these, and then here you'll see that I've got all the up and down pieces here. Okay, so they go vertical because they're longer that way. And then I've got these types of pieces all together, and then I've got these type, which are the opposite of these. And then I have these all together, and then I have a couple of the 3x1, if you will. You know what I'm saying? So I separate them. And what happens is when you're separating like that, it makes it a lot easier, because when you take a look and you say, okay, like I know here, let me get an image. Right here, I know that I have 2 open holes on the piece I'll be putting in. So I know that only certain pieces can fit this make. And so I can skip the ones that are unnecessary to even look at, and go directly to the pile of pieces which apply, and then work through them. And sometimes it saves time to look at the shape of the piece that's going to be here before you even try to fit pieces in, instead of trying to go one by one and waste your time. And also another thing is, sometimes these will be curved, these outer pieces, and curved in directions which give you a little bit of a hint as to which piece will fit. So try to save time by looking first at what's going to go there, and go from there. Now, it can be frustrating, when you have big sections of solid color, especially with the Ravensburger puzzles. They tend to do that. They have borders sometimes with solid colors that are just meticulous to work through, and you don't even want to do the puzzle when you see them. But let me give you some tips on that as well. I've told you the process here. You sort them out by not just color, but shape. And then you look for tell signs of what piece might fit based on observations of the openings around where the area would go. Like here, okay? And last but not least, when you're completing a big section like this, especially with the Ravensburger puzzles, this is an Educa, but I've done the Ravensburger 18,000 pieces as well. When you're doing the solid sections, like the borders for example, if you can make your way through one and see how it's done, it may take you 5 or 6 hours to solve the first border before you move on to the next section, but once you do that one, it makes it a lot less intimidating because you know how to do it, you know the technique, and then when you move on to the next one, it'll be a lot easier. I found that the first border or the first section on the Ravensburger puzzle I saved the border till last because it was such a nightmare with the solid green. It was the 18,000 piece tropical impression puzzle. But then once I completed that first section, when I went to the next section, I actually did the whole border before I even started the puzzle, and I got it out of the way. It wasn't that bad, and it made it nice because then I didn't have to think about it anymore once it was done. And I just worked the inside, which was a lot easier. And that's what I did for third and fourth sections as well, and it came together quickly. So don't give up. I know these big sections here can be challenging, intimidating, but they're rewarding when you complete them. I wish you all the best in your puzzling experience. Bye.